So in that sense, I haven't changed. I think the wars that we're involved in now are catastrophic, not just for the rest of the world, but for America itself. And I think that we should, in that sense, I don't know where you stand on any of these issues. I've never talked to you. I've never, read anything you've written. I've never heard your show. But I'm wondering, are you closer to Rand Paul when it comes to militarism, or are you closer to John McCain?
Oh, I'd be Ron Paul. So you've got Ron Paul over on the libertarian end. You've got his son, unfortunately, moving towards the middle. And you've got John McCain completely mentally ill and insane.
Well, exactly. So in that sense, we have a point of unity, because I think we should close all foreign military bases, as Rand Paul does. I think that we should downsize the Pentagon by about 90%. I think we should stop the war industry. I think we should stop arming the dictators and petty fascists all over the world. I think we should become a nation among nations, not the uber nation, not the controller of everything. So in that sense, Alex, we've already found a point of unity.
What is your view of Barack Obama then?
I've always had the same view of Barack Obama as long as I've known him. I've known him for a long, long time. Barack Obama, as he said of himself in the 2008 campaign, and as he said it, as he's defined himself all through his political life, he says of himself, I'm a moderate, middle-of-the-road, pragmatic, compromising politician. That's who he said he is. That's who he is. The right wing looked at him and said, no, he's not that. What he is instead is a secret Muslim who pals around with terrorists and has socialist ideas. I have yet to see a socialist idea come out of Barack Obama.
Are you kidding? He's talking about free community college and open borders?
Let me just say, the left wing looked at Obama and said, I think he's winking in my direction. But it wasn't true. Obama is a moderate, middle-of-the-road, pragmatic politician. That's who he said he was. That's who he is. Now, He has a record for 7 years. You can examine his record. You don't have to.
Sure. Hey, Bill Ayers. Bill Ayers is our guest, Professor Ayers. Look, very good tactics about getting a point of unity. Why, if you were a Green Beret in a village with the village elders having a debate, you'd find that first point of unity, common ground. In a month, you'd have them fighting for you. And I understand that. But you're not a Green Beret. You fight for a different army. Who funds you? Because I've read you're connected to the Ford Foundation, Carnegie, and others. Have you ever got any funding from those guys?
Never, and I don't even know what that means. Who funds me? I'm a retired professor. I live modestly like other retired professors. I'm not sure what you mean.
You're saying there's not a CIA program back to the 50s to fund liberation theology that I know you're fully aware of at university campuses?
I hear your paranoia eking through, but I don't know what you're talking about. Liberation theology has nothing to do with campuses. It's a movement within the Catholic Church. Is it a left-wing movement in the Catholic Church? Yes, it is. Does it come out of Brazil? It does. Does Pope Francis, to some extent, is he some extent influenced by that? Apparently he is.
Oh, boy.
That has to do with me.
Are you excited about Pope Francis and his liberation theology?
It's hard for me to get excited about a pope. I know that for those of you who are Catholic, he's infallible, so I guess the Catholics must be excited about him. I think that when he says, who am I to judge, and when he opens himself to the possibility of greater freedom for women, I think those are good things.
And, of course, carbon taxes for George Soros, though.
I'm not sure what that means, Alex. I mean, I know you've got a big paranoid background that's somewhere bubbling up, but I don't understand.
I thought you don't know who I am. Hold on a minute. A big paranoid background. Mao killed 84 million people, according to the Chinese government. The CIA says 60 million. Are you saying that I shouldn't be worried about communism?
I didn't say that at all. You said something about George Soros. I don't know anything about George Soros. So
all right, let me ask you this.
I don't know what you're drawing on. So
you know nothing about George Soros?
I said, when you say this is a George Soros connection to Pope Francis, I don't know what you're talking about.
No, I wasn't saying that. I was about to get into asking you about George Soros, who is funding liberation theology.
Does George Soros support liberation theology? I have no idea. I don't know much about liberation theology, and I know nothing about George Soros except what I read occasionally in the newspapers.
Well, I mean, community organizing, stirring up groups, that's basically domestic liberation theology. Reverend Wright was a liberal.
Dude, slow down.
That's liberation theology.
Community organizing is stirring up groups. What's wrong with community organizing?
Well, no, that's a name. Radicalizing people has then been named community organizing, and is funded by the big billionaires to destabilize. Well, listen, I want you to have a counterpoint to that when we come back. Bill Ayers is our guest. It is very interesting. BillAyers.org. Stay with us.
Did you go to guns80.com and get your AR-15 yet? I took my buddy Mark out to lunch the other day to thank him for turning me on to guns80.com. And suddenly our old pal Dan showed up and joined us. Of course, Mark immediately started selling him on the great deals at guns80.com and told him how you can buy a brand new rifle at a great price, keep your privacy, and how it can be delivered right to your front door, and that there was no visit to a gun dealer involved, there are no government papers to fill out. Dan was such an easy sell. He just pulled out his iPhone right there and went to guns80.com and ordered his Ghost AR. Wow. You can call guns80.com right now. Their number is 844-2GUNS80. That's 844-248-6780. By the way, demand they pay Mark a commission, okay? Call guns80.com at 844-2GUNS80 and demand they pay Mark, please. He deserves a commission. Go to 844-2GUNS80 and get your Ghost AR-15 on the web at guns80.com. Go now.
Hi, folks. Alex Jones here with some important information. I want to tell you about Matt Redhawk and his team of patriots over at My Patriot Supply. Several years ago, Matt was sitting in his two-bedroom apartment, frustrated with the direction this country was headed and the charlatans willing to sell us out for a quick buck. Deciding to take action, a company run by patriots for patriots was born. My Patriot Supply has never taken a loan or accepted outside funding. They now operate 2 distribution facilities and employ over 50 hardworking American men and women. It is rare to find companies who practice what they preach. And that's why I stock my pantry with high-quality storable foods from My Patriot Supply. Go to mypatriotsupply.com/Alex today for special offers on emergency food storage, or call their preparedness specialist at 866-229-0927. That's 866-229-0927. Do business with someone who shares your values. mypatriotsupply.com/Alex.
What good is a Big Berkey water filter?
We get that question a lot here at BigBerkeyWaterFilters.com. And in a word, the answer is protection. Protection from water main breaks, E. coli contamination, environmental chemical spills, pesticide runoff, chlorine taste and smell, and all forms of fluoride. Plus, Big Berkey water filters are the original gravity water filter system and most trusted on the market for a reason. Tested by multiple independent NSF EPA certified labs, they are the gold standard in water purification. At only 1.7 cents a gallon, a single set of filters can last for 5 to 10 years. That means big savings. Big Berkey, the one that's powerful enough to purify stagnant pond water. Get a Big Berkey today at BigBerkeyWaterFilters.com. GCN listeners receive 5% off all ceramic filter systems. Visit our website or call 1-877-99-BERKEY. That's 877-99-BERKEY. Big Berkey Water Filters, for the love of clean water.
Healthy elimination is essential to high energy, a cheerful mood, and prevention of disease. Some of the founders of our modern holistic health thinking state that disease begins in a toxic colon. The toxic intestinal tract is the foundation for virtually all degenerative disease, and a clean and well-moving intestinal tract is the foundation of health.
I just want to say that you folks have an amazing product. I've taken whey protein products for years, and I've never noticed the results I have with your product. I've suffered with bouts of constipation most of my life. Within a few days of taking One World Whey, I noticed a dramatic change. Also, in the past few years, I've experienced symptoms associated with diabetes. I feel horrible when I've had too much sugar, and I've been getting the foot pain as well. But I've noticed in the past week or so, I'm not feeling bad anymore, and the foot pain is gone. I'm just finishing up a 5-pound tub I ordered and just got off the phone ordering more. I love your product. Thank you.
Call 888-988-3325. That's 888-988-3325. Or visit oneworldwhey.com. That's oneworld.com.
Crashing through the lies and disinformation. It's Alex Jones, only on the GCN Radio Network.
All right, Bill Ayers is our guest. This is a short 6-minute segment. A long 18-minute segment's coming up so we can really get into a serious discussion. If he's up for it, we'll open the phones up so I guess supporters and detractors can call in. Here's where I stand, Professor Ayers. I don't know if you've read None Dare Call It Conspiracy by Gary Allen. I read that book back when I was like 14 years old. Since then, pretty much all of it has been proven to be accurate from my perspective, where ultra-rich crony capitalists fund socialist and communist movements, but also fascist movements, because they like to deal with command and control systems with domesticated populations. And I think that history's shown that collectivism delivers hell on earth and forced work camps. Now, that's why I disagree with you fundamentally. And I guess you believe that we have a real form of capitalism, and you disagree with that. I don't believe we have capitalism. I believe we have fascism sitting on top of a socialist management system, and that the left-right paradigm that's taught is a fraud. What do you say?
I have no idea what you're talking about, but I think that I agree with you. I'm against forced work camps. I'm against slavery. I'm against nuclear holocaust. I'm against military bases abroad. That I understand. I don't know what you're talking about crony. I know finance capitalism is one of the great dangers in the world today, but I don't know what you mean about them funding socialists. What socialists have they funded? And if you say, well, they've funded Barack Obama, I see no evidence that Barack Obama is a socialist in any sense at all.
It's been declassified that the CIA did indeed put Mao Zedong into power in 1949.
Where did you find that? That's fascinating.
History Channel, but it was previously declassified.
I've never heard of that, but that's fascinating. And Mao Zedong is no hero of mine, so there we are. I mean, you've got these great theories, but I don't know. We're not talking the same language because I don't know what you're talking about.
Well, exactly. You're speaking academia speech where you're this nice, mild-mannered guy, and you're there with your significant other, Bernadine Dorn. I guess you guys were never involved in any bombings or anything, right?
No, that's not true. We were involved in trying to stop the murder of 6,000 people a week by our government that dragged on for 10 years. I was involved in nonviolent sit-ins. I was involved in all kinds of tactics that were legal. And eventually we did turn to what I would call extreme vandalism. We destroyed property to raise a screaming opposition to the murder of 6,000 people.
You didn't bomb police officers or blind police officers?
Not at all. Nothing like that ever happened. I know it's part of the narrative of the right, but it's just not true.
Really? So Weatherman bombs never wounded police?
I'm sorry?
Weatherman bombs never wounded police?
Never.
Because you know what I'm going to do with all this. We're going to take this live interview and then take clips of what you're saying and then show them throughout. That's the whole point.
I don't know what you're talking about because we were involved. I was underground for 11 years. The Weather Underground was very active between 1970 and 75. Our government, people like John McCain, killed 6,000 people a week for 10 years, and we engaged in illegal, some would say, ill-advised, crossing lines of legality and maybe common sense. We're involved in extreme acts of vandalism to destroy property, to raise a screaming alarm against wars.
They claim that Tim McVeigh was angry about Waco and blew up that building. The evidence shows it's a false flag to blame the right, but expanding on that.
I don't know what you're talking about Waco. I'm not sure what you're...
I'm asking you, do you think it was okay what McVeigh did?
Absolutely not. He murdered people, innocent people, in the federal building. Absolutely not. We never did that, and we never murdered anybody. So that's what McVeigh did was horrendous.
Was Larry Grathwold, I heard he tried to debate you. Have you ever debated him?
No, never. And he's passed away now, but Larry Grathwold was a pathological liar, a paid informant of the FBI. I don't know if you're a fan of the FBI, but Larry Grathwold was paid to lie, and none of what he said was true or has ever been proven to be true.
Well, I'm not a fan of a lot of stuff the FBI has done, but it's pretty much a creature of whoever runs the Justice Department and the White House, but I'm certainly not a fan of communists.
So Larry Grathwold is a creature of the Justice Department, correct?
Of the Justice Department he was under, but I think there's good people and bad people in there is what I'm saying.
Department, or do you not like that Justice Department?
I believe that when you guys recruited him and reportedly tried to get him to train you in military tactics, I mean, I think it was good to stop violence.
None of that is true. Larry Grathwold hung around SDS. Everybody thought he was a cop. It turns out he wasn't a cop. He was simply a paid informant, paid to lie, and that's what he did. None of what he said ever resulted in anything. So the fact that he tried to make a second career out of himself is ludicrous. He was not a truthful person. He never told the truth, and he never stood for anything except let me get a little money to lie to the Justice
We got to
Department.
go to break. Come back. You can finish responding to that and give us your view on education, Common Core, and more. BillAyers.org. I'm Alex Jones.
We're on the